In 2017, a ransomware attack known as WannaCry ravaged thousands of businesses across 150 countries, causing an estimated 4 to 8 billion in damages in just a few hours. Amidst the nearly 200,000 computers taken offline, 70,000 were devices in hospitals in England and Scotland who had to turn away non-critical emergencies and divert some ambulances due to inoperable equipment. We don't know who unleashed the attack, though the US and the UK have both declared North Korea as the attacker, to which it has denied involvement. But we know that it was made possible due to a zero-day vulnerability that has been named Eternal Blue, known by its CVE number of 2017-0144. When a group known as the Shadow Brokers, which is widely believed to be a branch of the NSA, released information about the exploit after the attack, they also released a backdoor that researchers found had been silently installed onto thousands of computers across the world, all of which could be taken advantage of by WannaCry. And all of this could have been avoided. That Shadow Brokers group might not have been confirmed to be an NSA branch, but it has been confirmed that the NSA knew about this vulnerability for an untold amount of years. Instead of reporting it, they chose to keep it a secret so that they could use it to both protect themselves and to fight their enemies. A reason that may have backfired, because it was later found that a group in China had possibly been taking advantage of this vulnerability in 2016. A zero-day vulnerability is a software flaw that is unknown to the developer or vendor responsible for fixing it. It is named such because developers have had 0 days to address or patch the weakness. This is a particularly bad situation to be in as the developer, because the people who take advantage of them obviously aren't going to report them. So when the vulnerability finally becomes found, it becomes a question of how long others have known and how long it's been taken advantage of. But this also makes it perfect for governments. They need to operate in secrecy in any variety of scenarios: war, protecting the country, war, etc. So they can find them, or even purchase them on the black market, and then keep it to themselves so that the opponent has no possibility to react. In a world where countries like Russia, China, North Korea, etc., are actively conducting cyber espionage and critical infrastructure attacks, the argument is that the stockpiling is necessary to maintain national security. Even countries that are normally peaceful still need to defend themselves against those who aren't, and this is one way that they can keep their guard up. 0 days also allow intelligence agencies to monitor terrorist communications, disrupt state actors, and gather intelligence that conventional methods otherwise cannot obtain, again, in the case of war. Other than Eternal Blue, the most well-known example of a 0 day that was known by the government and kept hidden was the ones used in Stuxnet. This was a computer worm that targeted the machinery that Iran used in their nuclear facilities, and it was used to stunt their operation and halt the nuclear program. Obviously, a government did this. What's funny is that evidence points to the US, Israel, or both of them doing it, but both of them have denied it. Regardless, the process of getting this worm into operation used 0 days, and it was active for potentially up to 5 years before antivirus vendor Symantec noticed it. This is a case where it could be argued that it was used for good, because they prevented a country they didn't trust with nuclear weapons from developing them for a while. And for a long time, they probably felt good about not having to go to war with them and waste thousands of casualties, including innocents, on both sides. The downsides to this are plentiful, though. The government might not be the only one who knows about this, whether they know it or not. So when they hoard these zero-day vulnerabilities, they're potentially just not reporting an issue that is being actively exploited by a third party. They are leaving millions of people, particularly businesses, open to attacks that could have been prevented if they weren't operating in secret like this. This results in a kind of ethical dilemma. Governments are supposed to protect their citizens, and this kind of intelligence can help them keep the country safe from outside attacks. But it also leaves citizens exposed in a different way that can be shown in a different way that has been shown to be as bad in the case. But it also leaves citizens exposed in a different way that has been shown to be bad in the case of WannaCry. In fact, experts both because the kill switch was really dumb and discovered by some guy within a few hours, all he had to do was register a domain, and because it didn't target critical infrastructure. So many people had died due to this, but at least it didn't target a nuclear power plant or a railway system. You would hope that governments know who else knows of the vulnerability or the zero day, because they yield a weapon that can be used by anybody who knows about it, which could endanger citizens' lives even more greatly than if they had reported it and released a patch. The US government has tried to address this dilemma via a policy framework known as the Vulnerability Equities Process. This is an interagency review that is supposed to weigh the benefits of retaining a zero day against the risks of leaving it unpatched. This is an interagency review that is supposed to weigh the benefits of retaining a zero day against the attacks of leaving it unpatched. This is an interagency review that is supposed to weigh the benefits of retaining a zero day against the risks of leaving it unpatched. In theory, the VEP is supposed to provide a structured way to decide when a vulnerability should be disclosed to vendors versus when it should be kept for intelligence use. In practice, critics argue, my computer should stop fucking doing this. In practice, critics argue, the VEP is opaque, inconsistently applied, and skewed toward retention. There is no independent oversight body with the real authority to audit the process, and the agencies that benefit most from stockpiling have significant influence over the decisions. Without greater transparency and genuine accountability, the VEP risks becoming more of a rubber stamp than a meaningful check on accumulation. The stockpiling of zero-day vulnerability sits uncomfortably between national security, ethics, and the safety of government citizens. The case for doing this is hard to argue against. Cybersecurity attacks from other countries can be incredibly dangerous. Gathering intelligence by hacking into systems could save lives, and hacking into another government to stop their nuclear program is debatably ethical, but it is very funny. Nations aren't wrong for wanting tools like this to counter threats, but the WannaCry attack has demonstrated what happens when these vulnerabilities are known beyond the confines of the government. It's already debatable whether it's being known by governments put it in the shit hands. It's already debatable whether it being known by governments puts it in the right hands, let alone when it actually is in the wrong hands of black hat hackers.